Well, hey guys, welcome back to another exciting episode of The Watch Game. I'm Mex, and today I'll be unboxing a watch that's not just a timepiece. It's a statement about style and value, but most important, a statement about the geopolitical tussle we find ourselves in right now. So today I'm going to look at what some are calling the best Submariner homage on the market, but through a special lens. Can the Ginault Ocean Rover 2, assembled in the USA, offer American consumers a compelling, value-based alternative to other micro brands who will certainly be subject to the tariffs implemented by the Trump administration and see dramatically escalating prices? So here we go with this unboxing. So leather branded Ginault box, and drum roll, there is the Ocean Rover sitting inside plastic wrap, which is good. Protective wrap around the ceramic dial. Let's peel that guy off. Really nice ceramic, very stunning. Okay, so let's put this back and see what else we have in the box. We have screwdriver, which is nice. And then we have some certificates. So let's take a look at these certificates here. And you have a nice kind of branded Ginault cloth. This certificate, let's see, this is your limited warranty. There's my name. The model number, 201175LSICN. We'll talk more about that later. Serial number, movement number, and then my purchase date. And again, we'll talk more about that moving forward. I did buy this on March 7th, and the date of recording here is April 20th. And this is an important piece. This is the information about the movement. We'll talk more about that moving forward, but this movement is the Sellita SW200-1. It's an elaborate movement, 40 hours of power reserve, which is pretty standard.
Placed in a burlap bag and beaten with reeds. Pretty standard, really.
And just all the kind of details about the movement seems to be within specification. So now I want to zoom in here so you guys can have a better look at the dial and bezel. This is, I would say, more reminiscent of the first generation ceramic dial sub, so the generation that was produced between 2008 and 2020. I believe that references 116610LN that has the 40 millimeter case. The current generation, the generation that was launched in 2020 and that I've been reading off some of the statistics for, is the, as you know, the 126610LN. And that's the larger case, the 41 mil case. I show you guys the bezel movement. It's a uni-directional bezel. 120 clicks. Really nice movement here. And again, I think when we come back to the 12, we see really good alignment here. That's kind of good build quality from Ginault. So first impressions, wow. Aesthetically, this looks beautiful. Craftsmanship is impeccable. This 40 millimeter case, which we'll talk more about in just a few seconds, is CNC machined and hand finished in the US, offering a level of quality and finishing that is comparable to Swiss counterparts. So here are the details and dimensions overall on this Ocean Rover 2. So kind of just a piece of note, Ginault has referred to this reference as a 2.5 since there have been some upgrades over what the base model was launched in 2019, which obviously had some upgrades like the ceramic bezel over the Ocean Rover 1. You know, I mentioned this case that is machined and finished in the US. It's a 40 millimeter diameter case, which is modeled after the Rolex pre-ceramic sub, the 5-digit sub, which means that it has a much sleeker profile than a ceramic that you would buy today. So when we talk about the the sub currently on the market, this latest generation reference 124060, that's a 41 millimeter watch, right? So you have these chamfered lugs. It's 20 millimeter lug to lug. The thickness, you know, we've looked at the thickness of this watch. Real kind of strong selling point here, 11.3 millimeters thick. So when we look at the latest reference or latest sub reference at 124060, comes in at 12.5 millimeter. More than a millimeter thick on this guy. So let's see kind of when we get on the wrist, we can talk about the bracelet, right, which is also a kind of a next generation bracelet called the Gen 2 94530G. And I haven't even taken off the tape. Water resistance, right, 1,000 feet, 300 meters, stainless steel. And in fact, that's one of the upgrades, is that this was a little bit more bulbous, so I think they found a way to design and kind of machine it so it's more sleek on the wrist. So before we put it on the wrist, let's take at least this. Okay, that's the date, so the crown is in the middle position, so we'll set it engaged. Obviously the crown, you have that kind of Ginault logo, the rose. And let's get this guy on the wrist. Hand. So let's talk a little bit about high gloss, featuring this high gloss enamel dial with forged applied indices. It has this hallmark hand built in America at 6 o'clock position. I'll discuss what that exactly means for the Ocean Rover later in the video. And I mentioned that Swiss-made Sellita SW200-1 Elaborate grade caliber. With the date complication, obviously a date and cyclops. What does elaborate mean? So it's a step above the base SW200, and it's adjusted in 3 positions with 26 joules and accuracy plus or minus 7 seconds to plus or minus 20 seconds per day. And I mentioned that power reserve as well. So let's put this guy back for a second and take a look at that card. Talks about the performance of the movement. So they basically tested it for 6 weeks. And again, we look at, keep in mind the spec on the SW201 is plus or minus 7 to plus or minus 20. So we could see, based on the testing across these 6 weeks, it is within specification. So people are talking about triple layer optometry grade anti-reflective sapphire crystal. So basically it's a clear coating without the blue hue on the crystal. That's another upgrade over the 2.0 model. And obviously we see the Cyclops, it's the same, made from the same kind of sapphire crystal. Okay guys, so I sized the watch. It looks great. That ceramic, I mean, really looks just like the real thing. Really shiny though. And then, yeah, look at the profile here in terms of how thin that case is at 11.3 millimeters, right? That's really nice. But I want to show you something else, guys, about this bracelet. So the clasp, a little kind of hard to get off. It's a bit chunky, but which is good kind of from a safety standpoint. But it has this kind of micro adjustment piece, kind of slider to give yourself a few inches, so this is at its kind of widest, if you will. I mean, I took, as you can see, I kind of took a large link out and a small link out. But yeah, you have this kind of micro adjustment here. It really helps you kind of zoom in. And so I'm kind of really at the tightest for this, but it really gives you a good, helps you really dial in a nice, good fit here. So still got a little give, nice fit. That's it, guys. This was my unboxing of the Ginault Ocean Rover 2. Hope you enjoyed it, and we will catch you very soon. Bye-bye.